So before I start, I want to read a download that I got. I feel guided to share with you. I hope everybody is doing okay. Um, as always, I hope you guys enjoy this message and gets to the people that it's meant for. Um, I got these downloads where I was reading. I've been reading or restart the book of Revelations, and as I was reading just the beginning, I start having downloads, and I feel guided to share it, to write it down and share it. So this is about the system and how people have distorted and manipulated the way God's followers should be seen by society, by others. So, society, the system, picture an image of how God's followers should look or live their lives to control the way people see or expect us to move or to behave, so they can use a human flaw against us. They try to dictate how we feel and experience life and our love for God, using distorted teachings from a religion or cult as God's voice or rules. But God only looks for a faithful and obedient heart, not perfection. Not a soul without mistakes, but for a soul who always comes back to Him, even when life is harsh, even in pain, even when we fall short or wander away. From Him, He does not care about anything but alignment. Everything else are traps from the trickster to make us feel not loved or worthy of God's blessings. But He is the one to judge and to decide. Humans have no control over God's people. Humans does not have a say of what or how we should look or behave to be worthy of God's kingdom. That is a manipulation from the system. And as long as we believe them, we will be stuck or trapped in fear. God is freedom. Messages from Spirit. So, I don't know, guys, if you have noticed, sometimes when you watch any channel from the spiritual community, either tarot readings, channeling messages, or any other person that have a page in the community, to share, to create content, to inspire others. There's a lot of stuff that people get triggered by and even use against us, to judge us, to criticize us, to weaponize against us, saying that if it doesn't come in the whatever book, the Bible or whatever other book from any religion, then we are not from God, right? A lot of times Spirit works in mysterious ways, right? And a lot of times we feel inspired to show in any way. For example, I don't know if you have noticed that most of the people in the community, tarot readers more than anything, they are either Hispanics or from another country, or mostly they are African American, right? And I found out that it's a big community of us, right? Not the person that everybody will expect to be, right? Like the underdogs, right? People that we have go through a lot of stuff, right? That we have um, psychic abilities, and we are in tune with our gifts and in tune with God. And people must think that because we look in a certain way, or our skin is certain shade, right? Or background or whatever, and we are not from God, or we are just, you know, um, fake, right? They don't believe in our gifts. They use anything and everything to judge us, to distort our messages, right? Um, and sometimes, I don't know if you notice, certain people use fancy hats, right? Or the way they dress, or the way they talk, or whatever they have in the background, right? Triggers people to judge us. The way we dress or makeup, right? The way we talk and everything. And I really think all that is it's meant to be like that, to know what people really is listening to the message, and what people is just criticizing, right? So because we are mirrors of each other, whenever you are seeing me and you feel triggered by the way I am dressing, right? Or the way I'm talking, or the things that you see in my background, right? And you start saying, oh, she's no from God, or she's demonic, or look at her, she's showing too much skin. People from God shouldn't be like that, right? So what you guys that are always criticizing us project onto us is meant to trigger you for a spirit and a universe to see your real character, right? Only the people that is not there for the messages, only the people that is not there for growth, right? To learn, to ascend and be serious about this journey, right? Are the ones that feel triggered by these silly things, right? Small things that shouldn't be bothering you anyway if you really are committed to the message, right? Spirit a lot of times do this on purpose, exactly for that reason, to trigger the people that shouldn't be watching us, right? To trigger the people in the comments that are always criticizing us. Pay attention to everything but the message, right? They pay attention in our hair, what we are wearing, crystals, anything but the message, right? And with that, the universe is taking notes, right? It's taking notes about what these people is actually doing, right? Instead of paying attention to the things that are important, like the messages, right? And for others to see who is who, right? Not for us to know, because we read energy. We already know who is fake and who is true, who is real, right? Who are the people that really are there, that following others or us, right? For the messages, that are interested in the growth, right? And who are the ones that are just the minions, right? Or of the opposition, right? That are there just to troll our pages, right? and start chaos in the community, talking shit about others, right? And criticizing and judging and saying we are not from God. Because according to them, right, we should look or behave or dress in a certain way, right? To be from God, to be have the right to speak about God, even, right? And it's a thing that everybody had this fucked up. Like I used to say when I was reading my download, right? Most of the people um, think or believe that we should, um, I don't know, look like a priest or like a nun or something like that, right? To be um, able to be here and have authority to talk or speak about God, Jesus, and everything else, right? Um, that is a mistake and a misconception of what or how a person that loves God and follows God should behave or be, right? And all this is distorted and used against us from the system, right? Those that are in power, right? They are the ones that want to control and say who should say or who should talk about this or that, right? Who has the authority, the spiritual authority, to say this or to say that, right? Or to share the information. They think they have the control to say what we should share and what we shouldn't say, right? When the truth is, the only one that has the control is God, right? It's not human, it's God, the universe, the divine. They are the ones that choose through what vessel, right? They're gonna pass the messages, right? They're gonna speak to the people, right? They're gonna share what is needed to be shared, right? It's not in our control. Not even us choose that. We can choose God, but to be honored, to be a messenger from God, or a prophet even, that is only under God's control. Not the society, not the elites, not the organizations, none of that, right? Not even us. We don't decide that. That's why a lot of people that is trying to swap destinies and steal destinies, they will never succeed, right? Because first of all, you have to be in the frequency 4, right? To be a vessel of God, right? For spirit to work with you. If you are on the dark side, in the evil side, spirit is not going to work with you because you're working with entities that are from the darkness, right? From the evil, from the devil, right? So if you work for the devil, obviously spirit is not going to come and try to work with you because you are on the other side, right? You work with different kind of entities, and it just doesn't make sense. It's something that I really would love to, for people to understand. There's no such thing as stealing or swapping destinies with somebody that is on the light side, with somebody that works for God, right? Because how you gonna try to embody the energy of a nun when you don't even believe in God, when you don't even understand what that means, when you don't even know God? How you gonna embody that energy? How you gonna get whatever that person gets from God, all the blessings, right? And the spiritual wealth and all these things if you don't even, right, know what that is, if you don't even understand how much it takes for us to get there, right? To be trusted by spirit and God, the divine. So this always get my attention because, as everybody knows, right, a lot of people and a lot of times, like 99% of the times, I've been misjudged and criticized for the way I dress, right? The way I dress, the way I talk, because I cuss a lot sometimes, right? Because I'm a spiritual, right? And I read tarot, right? So people distort all that as something from the devil, right? Just to have something to talk about, just to try to make a point where there is none, right? The only point that you're making is that you are wrong, right? The people that are ignorant of this subject are the people that talks more, right? Is the ones that are always bitching around are the ones that are ignorant about the subject, right? And the ones that know what it is, but still know how to manipulate others against something that they know is truth. So there is two kind of people that are in the position. The ignorant people that don't even know what they're talking about because they don't even know God, right? They don't pray, they don't walk with God, right? They don't allow Spirit to teach them, right? They don't surrender to the divine, right? They just talk shit because they can, right? But they're able, they're bitter, they have envy, jealousy, greed in their hearts, right? But they try to teach other people who is and who is not from God when they don't even, right, know what that is. And from day one, when I start my public journey, I've been victim of accusations, right? Misjudgments, critics, and all kind of bully, right? Cyberbully and all this stuff, because according to these people, I shouldn't be talking about God because the way I dress don't give me the authority to talk about God. Like what? So a lot of people really have these misconceptions. A lot of people still live in the past, right? Where people used to dress different, right? When people used to talk different, right? When people was more oppressed, right? And they knew that they shouldn't talk about these certain things because they will be attacked, right? And be seen as blasphemy, right? And things like that. We live in different era. I don't know if you guys have noticed. We live in a modern era, right? Some of us even live in a country where wearing shorts is normal for us, right? Wearing sleeveless shirts is normal for us. More if you live in a city where it's hot, right? And you're in summer, for example, right? For us, Latin America, you know, and some other countries, it's normal to dress like this, right? And a lot of people have the misconception that because in their country they had some rules about dress code and how you should behave if you talk about God, they want to apply the same rules as a universal thing, right? When it doesn't make sense, right? Not because you in your country, right, is you were educated or raised to dress in a certain way. That doesn't mean that it's wrong for other people. It may be wrong in your country. In your country, it may be look bad, right? And we have to respect that. But as well, you have to respect us, right? Because in our countries, right, we dress different. We have different culture, right? We are more modern, you know, like we don't think too close, right? In the way we dress, for example, right? And the people that judge and criticize us that are from our same country are hypocrites most of the time, because how you gonna come and say that I dress like a whore and I'm talking about God when you yourself are a whore, right? Some of you are that and more of the things that you criticize and blame me, right, or accuse me to be, right? Just because I wear shorts, or I show skin, or I show my tattoos, or even because I have tattoos, right? And sure, we're talking about God. Oh my God, right? That's not right. Who says not right, right? It's not for you to decide that. It's not for you to say how I should behave. If you don't have a moral authority or spiritual authority, the understanding to speak about something, you cannot come and tell me nothing, basically, right? And if you dress like a whore and do a lot of stuff, even worse than me, right? Who give you the authority to come and tell me how I have dressed? I should dress, right? A lot of people just talk because they can't talk, but most of the people that criticize us, right, do worse things, right? They don't even believe in God. So who they are to come and tell us that we shouldn't be talking about God, right? It just doesn't make sense. And a lot of people still live in fear, right? A lot of people still think that having the different religion, right, have to keep people separated, right, divided. And we are a human race, right? We all are a human race. We're not supposed to be divided or separated by anything, no matter what country we are from, no matter our skin color or our pockets. We all are human race, right? So the world is being manipulated and controlled by dividing people, separating people by skin color, culture, language, religion, political views, gender, sexual preferences, and the list goes on, right? When in reality, we all are the same. We just have different preferences, or we came from different places, right? But we are all the same. We are humans. Like I say in another video, we all have eyes, nose, hands, feet, right? Hair, head, legs. We are no different beings here, right? We are all the same. So why we should be divided? Why we should be pointing fingers just because we don't share the same skin color, or we don't share the same religion, or we don't dress the same, right? The way we dress should be a preference, right? Of course, there is limitations by morality, right? And all these things. But it doesn't have to be too extreme. It doesn't have to be too like people judging others without knowing or understanding even our culture, right? Because a lot of people, because they come from countries where the women are cover all their body, or almost even the face in some countries, right? You don't see nothing but the eyes, right? The men from those countries see other girls from Latin America, for example, and as whores, just because we were born in a place where wearing short is normal, right? So our men don't see us like that just because, oh, that girl is in short, so automatically she's a whore. We don't see it like that, right? Not because you think that, or you were raised in your country with that mentality, that means that is wrong, right? Just like we don't see, or at least I don't see that it's wrong that other women, want to cover themselves. I think that is a preference, and if you do it because religion, because you want to honor God, and that's your way to honor God, that's you, and it's correct, right? And it should be respected, as well as we also deserve the same respect when we come from a different country with different um, culture, different way, or dress or talk or tattoos or whatever. Okay, I am really tired of being always criticized because my looks, right? I look too good to be a follower of God, right? I look too sexy or too sensual to be a follower of God, as if being pretty take away my right to believe in God or to talk about God, which is a stupid mentality, right? God, like I say, is not gonna judge you because you wear shorts. It's not gonna judge you because you have tattoos. It's not gonna judge you because you are gay. God is gonna judge you for your heart. What is in your heart? What are your intentions? Are you aligned with God, with the divine? That is what God really cares about. And a lot of people is gonna bring the Bible and say, but in the Bible says blah 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 blah, okay? Or in whatever other book says blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter. That's not God. Religion is man-made. Don't forget that. It may be inspired by God, but distorted and manipulated by men. Jesus didn't come here to make a religion. I don't think any prophet, any messenger of God is trying to make a religion, but to teach, right, the wisdom from the divine, to show people what is the way, the path, right, to reach ascension, to reach forgiveness, right, to have a better life in general. Men take all that knowledge, make their books, and start religions and movements. Some out of inspirations, praise, and whatever, but a lot of that has been manipulated and thrown back at us to control us, because we have to follow what the book says. And not everything in those books are really from God. Not everything in those books even makes sense, right? A lot of things are distorted to control people, right? To separate people, to say that because you're Catholic or you are this or you are that or you're spiritual, you cannot be with another religion, or because you don't cover your tattoos, because you don't cover your arms, you shouldn't be talking about God. And all these things that are just used against us to manipulate us, to divide us, to create conflict. And it's a problem. It's a problem because people that is extra religious, right, take things too far to make it sacrifices. People that is extra religious take the books and their beliefs too far, to the point that they kill whoever they think don't follow the rules, when they are not authority in the world, when they don't have the authority to decide anything. You just follow your own religion, but outside your religion you should not punish nobody because they don't believe what you believe, because they don't follow the rules that you follow. That is you, that is your decision, that is the life that you want to live, is your reality. But you have no authority to kill in name of Jesus or in name of God or whoever you want to call it, just because they don't share your beliefs, because they don't share your religion, because go against what you were taught or teach when you was growing up. You have no authority under no name of any religion or God to kill. That is a crime. And all the people that do this, they are criminals. They just use the name of God and their religion and their beliefs to commit crimes, right? And they don't have the right, they're no authority to do so. And it's sad. And it's sad that people see this happening in some countries and don't do anything and live with fear. And a lot of people that actually are more from God are killed or sacrificed because of these people that is criminal, that they just want an excuse to kill, because a people from God will not kill. A people that really knows God will not use his name to kill or to punish nobody. Whoever do these things is because they already are criminals. They just want an excuse and they use religion for that. But they are criminals. They are not followers of God. Okay? And the other side of the coin is people that don't believe in God, atheists, that also use their belief of God not existing to attacking people that do believe in God, that have a life of integrity, that are actually good people, just because they don't believe in what we believe, and they don't have authority neither, or excuse, or they're not justified to kill nobody. Nobody should kill in the name of God or because they don't believe in God. And this has to stop, because God is very upset about these things that is happening in the world. God is upset and tired of these things happening. People using his name to kill and commit crimes, using churches, saying that it's the house of God, right? To rape kids, to do sexual orgies, blood sacrifices, animal sacrifices, to steal and harvest energy and do rituals under the name of a church, behind a religion, right? Fake people, hypocrites. And God is very mad about it. Very, very, very mad. Okay? Nobody has the, let's say, most of the people is scared to talk about this, and shake keeps happening because nobody wants to talk about it. They just see what is happening and don't do anything. They live in fear. Countries come and attack other countries, and they feel that they have the right to attack other countries for other reasons, right? That are stupid, right? But when something is more serious, when it comes to the human rights and human lives, nobody wants to take action. Nobody wants to get in the country and help. They just watch. They just see. And a lot of countries allow that some religious groups commit these crimes. Their own government, right? Allow these things to happen because they are scared. And I am just thinking here, shouldn't you be scared of God? Shouldn't God be more a reason for you to defend your neighbor, to defend the human rights? How you gonna come and kill somebody in the name of God, but you cannot defend another person in the name of God? Does that make sense? It's a contradiction. This is hypocrisy. right? And it's because the fear, the illusion of fear that the system and all these organizations that want the power use to commit crimes, right? To praise the devil, to offering human lives to the devil. No religion have authority to kill in name of God. That is a crime. Those are criminals and they should be punished, right? Because if you're justifying any religion because of their beliefs and don't do nothing, it's like you're allowing murderers to do whatever they want, rapists, right? Churches, right? To do what they want. You're allowing religious authority to do what they want behind closed doors in the name of God. And God is not that. God is not rush. God is not fear. God is not confusion. God is not punishment. God is not hate. Everybody knows this. But everybody follow like a sheep, right? To the slaughterhouse. Because they're scared. Because they're being manipulated by those in power. And some because they also praise the devil in the name of God, but they praise the devil. And it's time for all this to stop. This is a warning. It's a warning. Look around. Cities have been shaken. Lives is being taken. And it's gonna be more and more and more until this is stopped. Until people start awakening and they start actually doing what is best for everybody. Instead of just ignoring the suffering. Right? So God wants to warn all these countries that are committing crimes on His name. It's not from Him, no matter your religion. It's you committing a crime against others. You're not God's people. You're not God's people. This is a warning. So I hope all these messages get to the people that it's meant for. This is a warning. And I'm just a messenger. So don't shoot the messenger, okay? Don't forget that the things that I share here is just for your highest good. Not mine. It's you. We, the people that believe in God, the people that know God, we are protected. We're always going to be protected. And there's a lot of people that already know that. There's a lot of people that know that they shouldn't be fucking in the name of God with His people. This is a warning. And God says there will not be other. There will not be other. Another warning. A lot of shit is happening already. So pay attention. This is a call. A call for you guys to stop using God's name to commit crimes. I hope you like this message and I hope you pay attention to it and you can actually start doing something. We the people, we have the power. Not organization, church, or political group have more power than the people. We are more. We sure are more, right? Wake up. They're killing our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, in the name of God. Do you think this is right? It's time for us to do something. It's time for us to wake up and to listen. Listen. Thank you.